Direct from the heart of Midland, this is the January 2016 edition of MPS Today. My name is Scott Cochran, Auxiliary Education and Curriculum Specialist and host of the show. Today we'll hear from Chestnut Hill Elementary. Principal Tracy Renfro and teacher Margaret Doan will join us to talk about their exciting news. Chestnut Hill has been recognized as a Blue Ribbon School of Excellence by the National Department of Education. Our Counselor's Corner will bring you up to date on everything you need to know for your high school students, and you'll get all of the latest news and notes from the district in the January 2016 MPS On the Move. Remember that you can find all of our programming, including select concerts and athletic events, board meetings, graduation, and more on our YouTube site. Just go to YouTube and search for Midland Public Schools, or you can go to our website, www.midlandps.org, and click on the YouTube button in the top right-hand corner. Now let's welcome our guests to the studio. From Chestnut Hill Elementary, we have Principal Tracy Renfro and teacher Margaret Doan. Tracy and Margaret, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Glad to be here.
We're glad to have you here. Well, to start off, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves? I mean, how long have you been with the district and what different roles have you had? What are you doing now? Tracy?
I have been at Midland Public Schools since 2002. Started out at Jefferson Middle School as assistant principal.
Okay.
Worked there. Have been at Northeast Middle School as an assistant principal, and also have worked at both high schools writing special education IEPs. And finally, Chestnut Hill in 2008.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have also had a lot of different roles in the district. I believe this is my 11th year. I was hired in to teach elementary Spanish. I started at 2 buildings. By the end of those 4 years, I was at 4 buildings teaching Spanish.
That's the way it goes when you're teaching auxiliaries.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
And then I actually had a year where I taught a little bit of elementary Spanish, and then also a section up at Midland High of high school English.
Okay.
Got transferred to Cook, taught 5th grade for a couple years, and then finally moved over to Chestnut Hill, did 2nd grade for a few years, and now I currently teach 5th grade.
So you've
at
been
Chestnut Hill.
Okay, so you've been at Chestnut Hill for a while now and teaching 5th grade.
Yes, yeah, about 6 years, 5 years, I guess.
Good.
Yeah.
How do you like the upper L 5th grade?
I like them,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm lucky because every different level I've been at, I've really liked it. So
Yeah.
I would hope to stay, but I do. Like it.
You're looking at your principal because she's the one that gets to
right.
decide that, right? Message sent. We'll see if it's received when you get your next assignment.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, let me ask you about this. I mean, what do you love about being a public educator? We know there's lots of challenges and lots of things to overcome, but it's a wonderful thing to work with students every day, too. So tell me about that.
I think the thing I like most about being in the classroom and being a public educator is just watching the kids grow and change over the year. Every single year when I start off, it surprises me because I forget how young they come in and how, you know, they don't know your routines, they don't know your expectations, but then as soon as you lay those out, the kids step up to whatever level you're going to put them at, and I've just seen huge growth. I mean, some of the stuff they give us, especially now with PYP, is just so much deeper than I ever thought like 10-year-olds could go. Sometimes I have to sit back and go, they're still just little kids, even though their thinking is amazing.
It's amazing, isn't it? And to hear them start to adopt the language,
Oh, yeah.
they're going to be inquirers, and they're going to, I heard from a 1st grader who's talking about, I'm going to be an inquirer. I'm going to put this in the freezer and see what happens.
Oh,
you know,
that's cute, yeah.
Things like that, right?
It's amazing, it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tracy?
I like the fact that we're there to help all kids with public education. We're not selected. We let everybody in, and I like working with all different children, and I really like it when they leave the elementary building, move on to middle and high school, and then come back to visit, and we see the growth.
Yeah.
That's very rewarding.
It is an amazing thing. I think that's one of the greatest things about public education is we help everybody.
Yes.
And it's a different challenge every day, and it's a great challenge. All right, well, Tracy, tell us about the Blue Ribbon School Award. I mean, what is it, and how did Chestnut Hill come to earn the distinction?
Well, last September, we received notification that we were nominated to become a Blue Ribbon School from the Michigan Department of Education, also from the United States Department of Education. And we applied through a lengthy application process and submitted our information, and were notified this September that we were a Blue Ribbon School, a national exemplary high-performing school, which means we had had high test scores for the past 5 years, and we were our application, I guess, confirmed
Yeah.
our nomination. So.
Now, Margaret, you're nodding your head. Were you involved in the application nomination process?
Yes, you know, luckily for myself and another first grade teacher, Amanda
Yeah.
Van Hoy, we are the co-chairs to the school improvement team.
Okay.
So when Tracy received the email, she said, wow, I think this is an exciting honor. We just got
Yeah.
nominated. Do you guys want to pursue it? She's looking at us like this. And we were
Yeah.
like, of course we
course
do,
we do,
principal.
right,
Yes. And so from there, we kind of took the application and split it really into thirds. And then each of us took a section and kind of filled it out. We met with the bigger school improvement team, and then we met with the whole staff and did different parts together. So yeah, from day one, I think we really pushed that application
Now,
all the
you
way
mentioned
through.
test scores. Is it all just based on test scores, or were there other things as well?
Well, with the state of Michigan, they were looking at schools who had high test scores.
Okay.
And a few years ago, Michigan did not participate in the Blue Ribbon Honor. Schools were allowed to nominate themselves and apply as they chose to or not, and Michigan pulled out, and they were looking for some standards or some qualifiers as to if these are going to be Blue Ribbon schools, what's so special about them, and we should be nominating them. So Michigan and 3 other states were out for several years, and this is only the second year Michigan's been back in.
Okay, great. Well, when you received the award officially, where did you go to do that, and what was that like?
It was great. We went to Washington, D.C.
Okay.
and received it November 10th. And there were 333 schools across the nation. We were called 148th to go up on stage and receive our award. And our students and staff watched it
That's cool.
through the internet and live stream. And it was just a great thing. It was very short. They call your name, you get the plaque, you're up on stage, and you're off, and
It's
they're
sort
on
of
to
like
the next one.
graduation.
It
It's
is
like-
like
It is.
graduation.
But it was great being there.
Yeah.
Just sitting in the room while the other schools were being called was really exciting.
Right. What did you hear from students and staff that were, because not everybody went to DC, obviously,
No.
so what did you hear from the students and the staff that were at the school?
Well, this is actually really funny. So they were streaming it live, and beforehand I had sent a couple just group emails to the staff saying, we're probably going to be around 3 o'clock, just so you don't have to watch it all day. And then all of a sudden, like when it got closer and people started going on stage to accept, my phone was going crazy with all these teachers like texting, like, you guys better have a good dance, or congratulations, make sure you smile. So it was just really cool. They were really enthusiastic. And then when we got back, a couple teachers had taped their class watching us, and the kids were just so excited. They were screaming. On one of the videos it says, look at Mrs. Renfro. It's really, really cute.
Well, that's great too, because they've all contributed to the success of the
definitely.
school. And their results are a reason that the school is recognized.
And I think one of the biggest things is when we went to Washington, D.C., we knew it was a big honor to receive this award, but I don't think we realized how big of an honor it was. Just to hear the different schools from all over the United States talk about their journey and how they made it, and then comparing ours and listening to all the Department of Education people congratulate us and talk about what an honor it was, all of a sudden we realized, I think, that oh my goodness, this was a much bigger deal than we thought originally.
Not just not just any school could earn that award, right? Well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have some video of students and staff, and you guys talking about the award and the whole process. So let's go check that out, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, I'm Arnie Duncan, Secretary of Education, and today we are designating your school and 331 other schools across the country as National Blue Ribbon Schools. Schools that are leading their students to the highest levels of achievement or making outstanding progress in closing achievement gaps. This honor recognizes your students' accomplishments and the amazing hard work and dedication that
We flew to Washington, D.C. to attend the National Conference and Awards ceremony. While at the ceremony, we found out that Chestnut Hill was nominated due to having exemplary high scores on state testing for the past 5 years. During the awards ceremony, we were very excited. Turns out that we weren't the only ones.
It's your jam.
Our school was cheering us on
anyway.
the whole time.
You can hear the music.
Yeah. Come on, just a little jive. That's right.
Well, that was great. Looks like everyone was having a really good time. Margaret, let me ask you this. What do you think that you and the other teachers and the students and everyone that supports you have done to help make this happen, to get these results?
You know, it's been kind of, I mean, it's only 5 years of scores, but that's
Right.
been a long journey. A few years ago, as you remember, we were labeled a focus school. And so at that time, as a school improvement team, we really had to sit down and look at, you know, where are our gaps, what are causing these gaps, where are we lacking? And I think that was a big eye-opener for Chestnut Hill because it's typically not a school that would be labeled as a focus school or
Well, you were
that
labeled as a
category.
focus school because you had some students that were doing really well and some
Yes.
students that didn't meet that level, so that's the gap you're
That is
referring
the
to,
gap.
right?
But
So-
we needed to know
yeah.
how could we pull those bottom students up and what could we do. And so we just came up with some strategies, and the whole staff really had to accept those strategies and really teach with those strategies.
Right.
So strategies like the first week of school, welcoming everyone in and doing not necessarily curriculum based, but more like classroom culture. So making everyone feel, you know, accepted and welcome in the classroom and learning about the kids instead of learning about the curriculum.
Well, it's a research-proven strategy,
Oh,
right?
definitely.
Students have to
Yes.
feel like they
Yes.
belong. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So that was just one of the things we looked at. We looked at the connections between the teachers and students, connections with the classroom. We looked at just different areas in math where we needed to beef up our instruction.
Okay.
And I think that together, since we had to take that on, it really kind of pulled us together as a staff. And then to get this Blue Ribbon Award for the last 5 years to
Yeah.
kind of prove that, wow, what you did really helped. And it worked. So I think that just having that beginning point where the staff said, okay, this is what we need to do together, and then having the, you know, reward of like, you guys did it, I think that
Right.
really helped us. So.
Well, and Margaret, it's interesting to hear you say that this isn't something that one or two teachers did, or
No.
half of each grade level. I mean, it had to be, we love to say in education speak, you know, instituted with fidelity, right? I mean,
Yes,
everybody
yes.
across the building had to be doing this.
Yes.
And that can be a challenge, but once everyone
Definitely.
buys in, it changes the entire culture of the school, doesn't it?
It does, and yeah.
What was it
it's
like for you,
rewarding.
Tracy, to see that happening and to be a part of that?
It was a great thing for our building. Like she said, we had the consolidation. Just, you know,
Right.
5 years before, we had teachers from different buildings, and it really pulled us together as one building rather
Right.
than a few from this building and a few from that building, and was very powerful, and we were able to erase our focus
Yeah.
label and become a reward school because we brought that
Yep.
achievement up. And then, of course, getting the Blue Ribbon honor was even
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's one
more
more great
rewarding.
recognition, yeah. In this case, from the national government.
Yeah.
Well, what are the next steps for Chestnut Hill? I mean, what are your goals for the remainder of the school year?
Well, one thing we did find out with the National Blue Ribbon is this is not something that you get once and then you're just out of the running.
Okay.
So we do have to continue working really hard. We are looking forward to hopefully being recognized again at some
Okay.
point. And then we also have a kind of a ceremony for the neighborhood because obviously we know this isn't
Yeah.
just the teachers and
Absolutely,
kids. This is
right.
everyone in the community. So Tracy, if you want to talk a little more on that.
Sure. This spring, we're going to invite administration, board members, school community, retired staff in to our building and have an outdoor celebration.
Okay.
It was just, our gymnasium is just too small to hold everyone. We hope to have a new flagpole installed as we received a flag to fly honoring our Blue Ribbon status. We have a couple banners that will be hanging, and we're
Okay.
hoping to get National Exemplary School letters placed on the outside of our building, and
Nice.
we would like to reveal all of that to the community.
So that sounds like a great event. So it'll be the school and the community all
Yes.
coming together
Yes.
to recognize the work that the school and the community have all done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, that's
Definitely.
exciting. That'll be a
It
lot of
is.
fun.
Yes.
Another thing to look forward to, right?
Yes.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, it's just wonderful. Congratulations to everyone involved, the teachers, the principal, and all the staff at the building. Obviously, your students.
Yes.
We know it doesn't happen without the support of the families and the community members as well. So awesome job, everyone at Chestnut Hill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. Well, up next is our Counselor's Corner, and then the latest news and notes in the district for the MPS on the Move. So all that and more right after this.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Hi, welcome to the February edition of Counselor's Corner. I'm Jill English, counselor at Dow High School, and this is Lori Hallberg, also a counselor at Dow High. And we are here today to present information on all things happening in the counseling world for both Midland High and Dow High. The first thing we'd like to talk about is the PSAT. Back in October, all juniors took the PSAT test, and scores are now available online. They became available on January 7th. And in order to access those scores, students need to create an account on College Board. So if they have not done that yet, they can just go onto the College Board website, create a username and a password, and they'll be able to access their scores. We will also have hard copies of those scores available in each office at the high schools. If you have questions about them and need to call one of the counselors, please feel free to do that and we will help you with that. The next thing that will be happening in February will be scheduling for next year. And that process begins with teacher recommendations. Teachers will be recommending which class your student should be going into for next year. So for English, math, science, social studies, world language, or any class that requires a prerequisite, the teacher will make that recommendation. After that happens, then your students will have a one-on-one meeting with their counselor, and we will sit down and select all 6 or 7 classes that they plan to take next year. And then after all of the scheduling has happened, parents will be able to view their students' course selections on Home Access Center in early March. Another important thing that happens in the month of February are the parent nights. So for the incoming 9th graders at Midland High, they actually already had their parent night in January. The incoming 9th grade parent night at Dow High will take place on February 3rd in the cafeteria, and then they will go on to visit other classrooms after that. The incoming senior parent night at Dow High is February 10th, and the incoming senior parent night at Midland High will be February 12th.
The beginning of February brings second semester. Some seniors may have heard from college applications that those colleges want to see their 7th semester transcript. If so, seniors need to be acting on that so that we can get their transcript to the appropriate college. If the application was done originally through Common Application, then your senior needs to talk to his or her counselor and ask us to upload their transcript onto Common App. If your senior originally sent their transcript through the website parchment.com, then they'll want to go on to parchment.com and request a 7th semester transcript. As soon as the transcripts are ready and available, they will be uploaded and sent on to colleges. Another important thing in February is our Paying for College workshop. This is held at Dow High on February 16th, but open to all families in Midland County. It's actually a 2-part workshop. There's a presentation in the cafeteria at Dow High from 6 to 7 o'clock, and this is done by a financial aid advisor from a college, and mostly talking about the FAFSA, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. The other portion of this workshop is working in the Media Center Computer Lab, and there will also be financial aid advisors from colleges there to help parents complete and work on the FAFSA application online. That workshop is from 6 to 8 o'clock, and if you would please call either Jillian Diezik at Dow High or Karen Drawley at Midland High to register, then we will make sure that we have a computer available for you. To help you with this FAFSA process, if you have your taxes completed, please bring that information. If not, if you're doing estimated, bring that information also, because that is used when completing the FAFSA. A thing for juniors in February at Midland High is their reality store. This will take place February 23rd, and it's a chance for juniors to get a glimpse of what reality is like. They will choose a career that they're interested in, and through that find out approximate wages, and then find out different events that happen in life. They have to pay for food, they have to do something with transportation and housing, and they'll see how a budget works and maybe get some tips on what they need to do in the future. So that's it for February. Please join us again when we have important information about March.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, butt in the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Hello, and welcome to the January 2016 edition of MPS On the Move. In today's show, we'll learn about MPS student achievements, the latest M-STEP results, updates on bond projects, the new SAT, and exciting STEM news. MPS student achievements. Did you know that by almost every measurable indicator, MPS students today perform at the same or higher achievement level than at any time in MPS history? 7 of our 11 MPS schools rank above the 80th percentile in the MDE top to bottom ratings. That means they score better than more than 80% of the schools in the state of Michigan. 3 of our schools are above the 90th percentile. Our graduation rate is 97%, which makes it the highest in MPS history. And our composite score on the ACT last school year was 23, also the highest score in MPS history. This is with all of our 11th graders taking the test. And that score places us in the top 4% of all districts in the state of Michigan. Last year, our 2015 graduates earned over $16 million in college scholarships. And our students took more than 1,000 IB or AP tests to earn college credit and were successful in earning that credit more than 88% of the time, which is well above the state average. Congratulations and thank you to everyone involved. Students, teachers, staff members, families, and community members. Thanks to you, our students continue to achieve at very high levels. M-STEP results. The M-STEP is the new statewide test students take in the spring, which replaces the MEP. We were told by the state that the M-STEP is more difficult than the MEP and we should expect a drop-off in scores. And that has happened both here in Midland and statewide. However, our students continue to do well, much better than most other districts. So here are some recent highlights. For reading and writing, we'll take a look at our ELA scores, the English Language Arts scores. In the elementary schools in grades 3, 4, and 5, our district scores range from 63% to 67%, which is not bad when you take a look at the statewide averages ranging at 50%, 47%, and 49% for the same grade levels. So our students are performing well above the state averages. For the English scores for reading and writing in the middle schools at grades 6, 7, and 8, our district scores at grade 6 are 59.5%, the same for grade 7, and we go up to 67% in grade 8. It's a nice job there. The state averages in those same areas range from 44% up to 49% of students achieving the proficiency level. So we're doing much better again than the state average. And finally, in English at the high school level, if you take a look at our high school scores, we're about 71% of our students are earning proficient or beyond proficient scores compared to only 49% of the state. So the state's at 49%, we're about 20 percentage points higher, 22 percentage points higher at the same level. For mathematics, at the elementary school, our district scores range from 48% in grade 5 up to 58% in grade 3. Grade 4 is right in the middle at 53%. Again, the statewide averages range from 33 to 48, whereas we're from 48 to 57% of students achieving proficiency. So again, much better. In grades 6, 7, and 8, for the math scores, we range at 46% in grade 6, 44% in grade 7, and up to 51% in grade 8 of students achieving proficiency, whereas the statewide averages are right about a third, right around 33% statewide achieving proficiency in math. And in grade 11, we're at 51% for math compared to a statewide average of 29. Now, of course, we like to see these scores be even higher, but as a baseline starting point, as long as we're that high above the state average, we know we're doing okay. In science, now the science scores are the lowest of any of the subject areas statewide. You'll see in grade 4, our district scores are at 25% of students achieving proficiency, where statewide is at 12%. In grade 7, our scores are at 36% achieving proficiency compared to statewide at 23%. In grade 11, we're at 53% compared to statewide at 29%, and that's a really big difference. And finally, in social studies, again, we're well above the state averages. At the elementary schools in grade 5, we have 40% of our students achieving proficiency compared to the statewide average of 22%. Of course, we'd like to bring that up, and we're working to do that. And then in grade 8, we're at 55% district-wide compared to 30% for the state. And at grade 11, 2/3 of our students, 68%, are achieving proficiency or above compared to the state average of about 44%. Like every district in the state, we're working very hard to improve our scores and expect to improve them, but this gives us a good baseline to start off. Now, individual student scores are in the process of being sent home. For more information about student scores, building scores, or district results, check in at your school office or on the district website. Bond updates. Once again, thank you for your support of the schools and your students through our bond projects. Here are some updates. The Parkdale demolition is being completed. The demolition of the classrooms at Central Middle School is underway, and our next steps include continued planning for the new elementary school that will be on the Central campus, and we're planning the renovations for the Central auditorium. Already completed projects include the distribution of laptops to all of our middle school students, and that's been exciting this year, the demolition of mills, and the replacement of the middle school boilers. The new SAT. You may have heard that all of our 11th graders here in Midland and statewide this year and moving forward will be taking the new SAT beginning this spring. This is a dramatic change for students in Michigan. For much more information about the SAT, including answers to your commonly asked questions and for practice tests for your student, please go to our website, www.midlandps.org, and you will see links to information on the front page. And finally, some exciting STEM news. Thanks to the Dow High School robotics team for providing a STEM camp for elementary students. Students were able to learn about engineering, electricity, magnets, and much more from their high school mentors. Keep your eyes open for many more STEM opportunities for students of all ages. Well, that's our show for now, and we'll see you next time on MPS On the Move.